Hi, this is Lisa Kelly, Notre Dame author and class of 1993, and you are watching the Two Irish Brothers show. Cheers and go Irish!
What is up, everybody? I am Irish Benjamin 57.
And I'm ND Sean 45.
And together, we make up the Two Irish Brothers show. Welcome in. Before we get started, please, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon.
It's in the corner,
Know when our newest video has uploaded every single time. And while you're at it, leave us a like or a dislike. If you don't like us, that's fine too. But without further ado, we had quite an eventful weekend for Notre Dame. We had the blue and gold game this past weekend, which is awesome because we're one step closer to
Ben. We're still in the weekend.
This weekend, yes, this weekend.
You said this past weekend, so I think a week ago.
So yeah, I mean that's exciting, because we're one step closer now to actual football. And we will give I'll give one little Notre Dame shout out before we get into other stuff. Notre Dame had a soccer player that played soccer for the University of Notre Dame make a tremendous tackle last night in the Birmingham Stallions versus Houston Gamblers game. A soccer player that became a kicker in the USFL. So that's kind of cool. And he's from Notre Dame.
Brandon Aubrey, I believe his name is.
If you haven't seen that clip, go ahead and look it up on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. So, Sean, what do we got going on today?
Well, first off, I made a mistake at the start of the video. Up in the corner is our logo. The subscribe tab would be in the lower right hand, I think. So yeah, hit the green YouTube button. That's a subscribe button. But we've got a few things to talk about here. Now, yes, we had the spring game yesterday, and all I can say is, first off, screw Peacock. I'm not going to pay for a subscription just to watch a scrimmage. Nothing against the scrimmage itself, but Peacock's not worth it. It's just like this place in New York that I know that sells a $41 hamburger because it's made from Kobe beef. I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend $41 on a hamburger based on principle. So the same kind of thing with Peacock. But anyway, aside from my me digressing here, a little bit of news that I wanted us to talk about real briefly, and we're kind of behind the gun here, but that just happens when you're working different work schedules and you're not able to make videos that often. So as you guys all know by now, it's been announced that next season, Notre Dame, for the first time ever, will be playing an FCS opponent in Tennessee State.
Yep.
And the big deal about Tennessee State, and I think this is pretty cool, don't get me wrong. The cool thing about it is a historically black college, and that's fine. That's cool. I have nothing against that at all. It's a historic game, and all the cool stuff that come with it. But I'm going to fire the first shot here, Ben. Despite the cool part of this, I don't like it just because of the fact that we get enough crap about our schedule as it is, and it doesn't matter what kind of college it is. I'm not talking about that. I could care less about that. That part is not a factor at all. The factor is that it's an FCS opponent. And like I said, we get enough crap for our schedule as it is. We've never played an FCS opponent, and I was hoping to keep it that way. But now we've broken that, I guess, barrier, if you want to call it that. And we've now scheduled one. And myself alone, I just don't like it for the fact that it's an FCS opponent. And let's say we go out there and beat this team by 50 or 60 points. Who's really going to be impressed by that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool for the historic aspect of it, but it's not going to help your schedule. But I want to hear your thoughts on this.
So
Like, what do you think?
I have a little bit different of opinion on this, and it's more of my attitude in general towards Notre Dame as a whole and the perception of Notre Dame from the outside world. The complaints that I've seen are just like yours, that, the common one is, everybody always has something to say about Notre Dame's schedule, which, and everybody being,
Oh, that's
the
true.
media and other fan bases and you name it.
Yep.
And then
seen
I've
them too.
seen the whole, well, we've never done this, so why start now? And I've seen that argument too. My attitude towards it is I don't really care. And it is not that I don't care in the sense that we're playing a no-name team. It is the media will always have this perception of Notre Dame, whether we schedule Alabama week 1, Ohio State week 2, USC week 3, Miami week 4, on and on. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, top
If
10
we
team
did
every
that,
week.
they would still have something to say. If we scheduled Tennessee State every week, they would have something to say. So the way I look at it is, who gives a darn? Because they're going to have something to say no matter what. And I mean, we've already basically done this. The only difference is it's an FBS opponent and not FCS. And we've done this with Ball State. We've done this with Toledo. We've done this with Western Michigan. The only difference is stadium size. I'm sorry. The class of athlete that those teams have are almost the exact same as Tennessee State. So I don't really see much of an issue. And the other fact is that, yeah, we're going to be one of the last teams to get rid of the fact that we've never played an FCS team. Well, UCLA ended that, and then Southern Cal was going to end that this year, and I think they're going to end it this coming year after COVID and all that. So there will be no teams. So whatever. I mean, whatever. Now, my only concern with this is I hope to God that we do not have a situation where it comes down to a last-second field goal that Notre Dame has to kick to win the game or something. That will absolutely drive me up a wall.
Hence Michigan and Appalachian State when they were still.
I'm looking at them. I'm looking at Virginia Tech. I'm looking at Washington. I'm looking at, the list goes on. And these aren't bad teams. The only really bad team that's been beaten by an FCS team is Kansas. So let's not pretend like these FCS teams can't play.
North Dakota State.
And I so wish we could have seen North Dakota State versus Oregon. COVID hit and we did not get that matchup, and I hope that they do that, because I really wanted to see North Dakota State actually play a big boy, because and I'm not saying they haven't played big boys in a sense, but they've played like Iowa, and they've played, not the biggest of the big. Oregon's a pretty big team at this point.
But Iowa was ranked number 13 when they beat them.
Yeah, but that was, no offense to Iowa, okay? And I know your feelings on Iowa, okay? So I don't think this is going to fall on the ears of somebody that's like, how could you say that?
No.
Iowa always gets ranked real well in the preseason polls and stuff, and then they kind of peter out. So
I'm trying to give some love to the Bison, not the Hawkeyes.
So anyway, but no, I don't really care either way. I like I said, at the end of the day, I think no matter what Notre Dame does, they're always going to have that, well, it's Notre Dame and they don't do anything better than that. So whatever.
And this is, from my aspect, it's nothing against Tennessee State. Nothing at all. I just think that spot could be used to play a game that could really help your schedule even more.
Yeah.
That's all.
I don't know. I kind of look at the fact that, it's like, man, it would actually be kind of nice to not, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but Notre Dame seems to always start their season off with a bang. It's like, can we ever just have like 1 week in the beginning of the season where it's like we can just kind of ease into things, as opposed to like going up against Michigan or Alabama or Clemson or whoever, like week 1, where you like all eyes are on you.
So basically,
You're
you're being Adam Sandler from the longest yard, and he's like, all right, relatively simple. You need a tune-up game.
Right.
Yeah. When I was in college, we'd start off every year against Appalachian State. That was back in 2006. Or some slack Division II team, kick the loving crap out of them,
Right.
get the guy's confidence up. Yeah, that's what you're sounding like right now, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Alabama, Ohio State, you name it, they do it. So it's like,
well, to our credit, those guys play 2 FCS opponents. We're only going to be playing 1.
Exactly. That's my point.
So I don't necessarily, again, nothing against Tennessee State. I just think that we didn't need to do that. So, but I don't. Anyways, it doesn't matter who you play.
Yeah.
You got to get it done on the field.
Before we move topics, the one thing that I don't understand, like, is, I mean, and maybe there's a reason, I don't know, but like, why Tennessee State? Like, why not like some Indiana team or some Ohio team or so? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, without getting political, I'm not trying to get political, but it's because Tennessee State is a historically black college. And so I think that's the history. They want to show that history, just like along the lines of like a Grambling State or a Southern or Alabama A&M. Those are historically black colleges that, well, back in the days, or back in the day of segregation, you wouldn't see those teams playing, a Big Ten or ACC or SEC or any conference like that because segregation was going on.
Yeah, interesting.
So that's what I think.
It's like, I mean, because I'm not saying it would be per se cooler or better, or I don't know what the right word would be, but like, I mean, like an Indiana State or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you keeping it in the state of Indiana, like
that would be cool too.
Like Oregon plays Portland State like every year. Okay, so I mean, it's like 2 teams of Oregon playing each other that don't normally get to see. You know what I'm saying? So. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Well, in USC, before they called it off, at least I think they called it off. They were going to play California Davis.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, they called it off because of COVID or whatever. I think they're rescheduling that. From my understanding.
Well, from what I heard, it was actually because of unpopularity with the fans. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
Maybe it was. I was assuming it was COVID because we were still.
It could have been. It could have been.
California was. We'll go this way. California still had a lot of restrictions, and whatever. I mean, that's between the Pac-12 and all that. That's their problem and their things. But anyway,
so let's get on to the big topic of this video. Not taking anything away from the last topic. So yesterday we had the 91st blue and gold game. A lot of things to talk about with this. So diving right in for starters. Steve Angeli,
yep,
with the game winner at the final second. Good for that kid.
Yeah.
The first shot I'll fire with the spring game is this: the quarterback battle is alive and well. I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there,
because Tyler Buckner wasn't playing because of with the thing that everybody's joking about, him tripping on the step. I don't know why, because we've all tripped over a step at one time or another. So why is that funny? So it's better to be safe than sorry. So they had Drew Pine playing for both the gold and the blue teams yesterday in the first half. And he had some good moments, but he had some tough moments as well, put it that way. His numbers for the whole second half, or the entire first half, playing for both teams: 22 of 33 for 185 yards and 1 touchdown. He was picked off 2 times, but I think one of those interceptions was called off because of a penalty. But yeah, the quarterback battle is alive and well because Buckner, he definitely made a case yesterday to start since he got a majority of the snaps. I don't see Steve Angeli, I don't think.
Angeli.
Okay, George and I were saying Angeli. I don't know what it is.
It's the only reason I know that is because I actually heard his name in a press conference once.
Okay, Angeli.
So it's Angeli.
Okay, so Steve Angeli, he's not going to start. He's not going to be the guy, but I think he definitely made the case to be the number 3 guy for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think we knew. I mean, we knew a lot about Steve Angeli coming in. Okay, I mean it's not like, and I mean in the age of social media and the way that things are now, we know quite a bit about these guys coming in. I mean, it's not like some guy shows up campus and we're like, who the heck's this guy?
Yeah.
But uh, the program that he comes from, Bergeron Catholic in the state of New Jersey, is a phenomenal football program. You can put them in the same tier of some of the most famous football programs across the country for high school. So this is a kid that has played in very big games. Now, are they as big as college? No. No. But this is a guy that has been in situations just like yesterday. And that was no surprise to me. When I saw him, that's why you brought him to Notre Dame. That's why you gave him a scholarship. For those reasons and for that moment exactly. But, you know, I saw an article about the offense and Drew Pine and all that, and how people were not impressed by the offense yesterday that they saw. And first off, this is a scrimmage, first off, okay? And secondly, and I'm not making these are not like legit excuses for the team and for, you know, lack of offense and all that. I'm not going to do that. I'm saying facts. They are not going to bust out the whole playbook in this scrimmage, because anybody that is going to be playing Notre Dame, which, what was it, $4 to sign up for Peacock Network, would spend that $4 and watch that scrimmage and know what to expect come game time in the regular season this upcoming year. Okay, so they're not busting out the whole playbook. So let's take a step back and
I've been saying that for years, dude.
Let's lower the DEFCON level a little bit before we start saying the sky is falling at Notre Dame.
I've been saying that for years. You can't take anything too serious in the spring game because you are playing yourself.
And the other thing too is, I mean, and granted, you know, people might have something to say about this, but these guys know each other. Okay. I mean, it's way different when you play against Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner every day in practice than when you go and play, let's say, Louisville, and that's the first time you're actually seeing some of those guys. It's way different. I'm sorry. I mean, you're going to know more of what they do and how they figure out their routes and all that kind of stuff. So spring games to me are going to be a little more tighter when it comes to play, because you know everything about this guy. You know every little intricate detail because of everything you've been through with him. So that's why to me, it's like, let's, like I said, lower the DEFCON level a little bit before we start saying the sky's falling.
Yeah, because I've heard a few people say, oh, it could be pretty rough for us this upcoming season, especially in Columbus. It's like, this is a scrimmage. We're playing ourselves. We're not going to bust out the whole playbook. Give it time.
Yeah.
But going through the both teams here, the entire team, you're looking at the top. Like let's go to the running game. Chris Tyree, 2 carries for 20 yards. So your top guys aren't going to get a lot of touches here because, again, you want to
keep them safe.
Be safe and sorry. Exactly. Chris Tyree, 2 for 20. Logan Diggs, he had 4 carries for 10 yards. Audric Estime. Now, Audric Estime, this is a guy, like you said with Kyron Williams a couple years ago, to be a guy to look out for. I'm calling it with Audric Estime. I think come the 2022 season, you're going to see him make quite a difference with that running game. But then you had Jaden Thomas, 1 carry for 22 yards. Let's see here. Jadarian Price, I'm pretty sure he's a receiver. Or is Jay? I don't know. I'm a lot of new guys here. I'm trying to get them put in the right positions here. But yeah. But yeah, we're going to the receiving game. You had
and you are right, Jadarian. Yes, I just double checked. Yes, he is a wide receiver.
Okay, so Jaden Thomas is the running back. Jadarian Price is the receiver. Okay, but yeah. So before I get to the receiving core, I think this running back core come next season, they are going to be a force to reckon with.
Yes, people are already touting. I've seen an article saying, the running back position is deep at Notre Dame and very talented. So, that's good. But got to get that passing game going, man. I mean, we know that Notre Dame's got a decent running game. We've seen it in the past. We've had a lot of success in the running game in recent years and stuff. Got to get that passing game going, man. You gotta.
I will tell you this much. When it comes to the passing game and the receiving core, our receiving core is going to be one word: young, young, young. Come this upcoming season.
Yeah.
But it's going to be talented too if we can get the passing game on target here, because we had Jadarian Price 104 yards and 8 catches, with 1 touchdown. We had we all know Michael Mayer. He was three catches for 35 yards. Braden Lindsey, two catches for 33 yards. One of them a real nice comeback catch, or behind the back catch. Receiving for the blue team, we had let's see, where are we at here? Some of your big name guys like Deion Colsey, he was only two catches for 8 yards. Where's the standouts here? Matt Salerno, 2 catches, 25 yards. But also you are going to see a lot of receiving work from the running backs. So definitely expect to see that a lot this upcoming season.
Yeah.
And as far as the defense goes, they were just downright scrappy. And I think, with Brandon Joseph, the safety transfer from Northwestern, he came exactly as advertised. So I think we're going to be just fine, even without Kyle Hamilton next season. Joseph will come in and fill that spot nicely. But everybody yesterday on that defense was just balling. And I could see that happening, this upcoming season. So I think we're going to have a pretty solid defense. And I think what it all comes down to is what you said, Ben. Quarterback game, they just have to figure out passing. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, I think the defense I don't think the defense takes a step back this year. I don't. I think the moves that Freeman has made, and I mean, Freeman's a defensive guy to begin with, makes that defense, lights out. And I'm not super concerned about that whole situation. As usual, I am concerned about, the passing game. And you can't put stock into anything in the spring game. And I said that earlier on in this video, but to me, the one thing that Notre Dame needs to push them over the top, and we've said it multiple times, is that passing game getting going and being very, very lethal.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, the one thing that concerns me more than the passing game, because you can work on that, but the one thing that really concerned me the most yesterday was our special teams, because there's really no trickery with special teams. It's just, if you're a kicker, you get the ball through the uprights.
Yeah.
Punter, you punt the ball downfield. We had Blake Groupie, the graduate transfer from Arkansas State. He was one of 2. His longest was from 36. And the second one that he missed was a 47-yarder. So, okay, it wasn't easy. I'll give him that.
Right.
But we had Josh Bryan 0 for 2 on field goals. We had a muff punt yesterday by our punter, which you can't have that, because special teams, that's a fundamental bread and butter that you need to have.
Yes.
That can make all the difference in a game is special teams.
Yes.
Because if they're making mistakes, not only is that taking points off the board and it's not flipping field position like it should, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. It is one of the most crucial parts of football, and it is one of the most, I think, underrated. I don't think people really realize how much special teams makes or breaks teams. And good thing is, yesterday was a scrimmage.
Yes.
Simple as that. Yesterday was a scrimmage. This is why you do that. this is one of those situations where you have to learn from that. This is what it's going to be, and it's going to be faster against Ohio State to start the season off. I mean, and that's, people can be like, oh, well, you're looking really far ahead. I mean, am I? Am I looking far ahead? Because that's the first guys we see on the schedule is Ohio State. So
spring, summer practice will be here before you know it. They get started in late June.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you got to get these kinks out now, because I would rather have the muffed punts and the missed field goals in the scrimmage than, going 5 for 5 in the field goals and perfect punts and all that in scrimmage. And then come Ohio State time, you miss a couple field goals, and then it becomes what if we made those field goals?
Yeah, you don't want that. That's not something that you want.
I would rather see it this way, and then an improvement than a regression. So
yes, exactly. So the bottom line is, yesterday was great to see what we have on the field, to get a taste of it. And it just goes to show we still have some things that are up in the air, like the quarterback position. Not entirely sure who's going to start just yet. Who's going to be that number one guy? But it was definitely a key yesterday for Drew Pine to get a majority of the snaps, and so he made a case. He really did. So yeah, not really much more to say about the spring game, and that's pretty much all we have for you in this video.
Yep.
So Ben, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything real quick?
I got nothing. Oh, well, amazing come from behind victory by the baseball team, beating Wake Forest 13-12. So that was pretty impressive, and I'll give that little shout out. But nope, I got nothing else.
Well, on that note, the Freeman era is officially underway at Notre Dame, and all we can say is let's just get on our boys and have their backs.
Yep.
So on that note, everyone, I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, God bless, good night, and go Irish.
Go Irish.